Hello, everybody. I'm back for another day of blogging. Yesterday was the first day of Dream League. Had a great time. Today we have a day-ish off, although I think I'm going to the studio for the rest of the day. So, yes, this is episode 3 of the Midas Mode blog / diary of what it's like to put on your tournament. We've already gone through the setup. We've gone through what it's like inviting teams and doing that, and now we make it to the second half of the most important part of the tournament, the chicken versus the egg sponsorships. Now, I'm going to take a little water here for dramatic effect. Dramatic. Now, when I was designing this tournament, I thought to myself, sponsors should be the easiest thing in the world. After all, it is a unique product. It's something that no one else is going to be doing. Every single 2 weeks of this year, there's going to be somebody playing Captain's Mode, and it's going to be the same teams and arguably the same meta until the new heroes come out, because I personally predict that there will not be a new patch until the Dueling Fates update. So, in my head, it sounded like the easiest sale ever. I mean, this is the only Dota tournament that is going to be unique and have actual stuff. No, it's selling shit in esports is not easy. It is not easy at all, no matter how unique your product is, no matter what teams you have. It doesn't matter. I could have Too Good hosting my event with old Navi from TI1 playing, and getting sponsors would be difficult. Why is that? Well, there's a lot of different reasons, and most of these reasons are pretty surprising, especially to me. For one, the Dota landscape ain't that great in the mind of a sponsor. We have a pretty bad reputation because of how money is kind of dealt with in the Dota 2 realm. For example, we have some of the best paying prize pools. That's what we're famous for. But when the majority of the money that you put into a tournament has to be put into a prize pool, what does that leave for the rest of the tournament? For an example, let's say that you're putting on a event and you want to have $100,000 in prize pool. Well, to get all those people to that event, you're going to have to spend probably more than the prize pool. All the different teams, all the different talent, all that stuff. So the investment will probably have to be around twice as much, or maybe even 3 times as much as the prize pool that you're offering. And the amount that you can allocate towards that event, the majority of it has to go to the prize pool in Dota 2. Because in CSGO, you can have a shitty little prize pool, and that's okay, because teams are used to that. But in Dota, teams want a lot of money. So any money that you put in your allocated budget towards branding and marketing in esports has to be then put into Dota 2's prize pool instead of Dota 2's event. Which means that events, especially third-party ones, the smaller kind, they certainly suffer. And that's pretty much been the system. Not only that, but in the old Dota 2 system as well, sponsors were kind of looked down upon. I mean, you have like the majors and the minors, which had 0 allowed sponsorship. You just weren't allowed to sponsor that. So the biggest events, the ones that people cared about the most, no sponsors. Now, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? That's arguable. That's up to people. Having something be simply about the game, simply about the brand, is pretty cool. It's pretty honorable in a way. It's pure rather than having to do it the other way. However, is it a real-world system that can survive? Probably not. That's why we're seeing the new system coming out this year. That's why we're seeing a opening of doors, if you may say, to different organizers for events, and for the first time, people can have third-party sponsors for events. But at any rate, I thought to myself, easy. I'll just get the teams, and then when I have tier 1 teams, sponsors will come a-running. No. Sponsors do not come a-running. In fact, it's a lot of hard work. It's more work than I ever thought that it would be, honestly. I had unique strategies, though. How I'm doing Midas Mode is that I've never liked sponsorships that I've seen in esports, because I feel like they're just kind of tacked on. I mean, there's no point in sponsoring a tournament when your sponsorship just goes to a commercial that in between games. I mean, why watch in between games? Who watches that shit? Sorry, panelists and me, and anyone else, but people are there for the games, not for us. I mean, maybe they'll be there for the post commentary. Maybe if you have a super entertaining product, my favorite example has always been Summit, where the mid game is as fun as the out of game, is as fun as the in game. Then maybe you'll have people do it. But in majority, tournament organizers just throw on a commercial with some monster cat happening and blah, 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 blah. And then that is a detraction. That's an annoyance. The audience watches that and it's a commercial. They mute their thing, they alt-tab, and they go and do something else until the action is back on. That doesn't have to be the way that it can be. That isn't the way that it should be. A good sponsorship should be integrated into the program. It should make people want to see that sponsor. It should make the best parts of the program should be brought to you by the people that put on the program, not detract from it. So, my business model basically was to tie in all of the unique content with sponsors in mind and integrate them into the show. Try to find a way where it's seamless and it's not obtrusive. You would think that sponsors wouldn't like that. I think that they would. I think a lot of guys that know their audience in esports and they want to have products that resonate with those people instead. Anyway, I think all these things, maybe I'm wrong because this shit's hard. This shit is hard. You would think that it wouldn't be that hard with good teams, but did you know that most companies, major sponsors, sponsor things a year in advance? I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's true. We're talking at least 6 months in advance for someone to allocate major funds towards a product, and that's from what I've heard from esports sponsors, that's the typical. I mean, these guys have a lot of different things. That's what people don't realize. They have to sponsor CSGO, they have to sponsor Dota, they have to sponsor League, they have to sponsor all these different tournaments, and that's very complicated. And each region has their own budget, and each person has to communicate all those different facets in all those different ways. So, in the end, try to get a tournament sponsored in Dota, number one, unless you've done your research for a year and you can go up to a company and say, hey, Q3 of next year, we're going to be throwing a tournament. You want to sponsor it? Yeah, good fucking luck. Because those budgets have already been allocated, baby. And then that's not even the biggest problem. Dota 2, so many fucking tournaments in the next year. A tournament every 2 weeks. Those that do have the money to sponsor, well, holy shit, they're already working on it. Why sponsor anything that's not a major? Why sponsor anything that's not a minor? Why do any of that? Because those are the big tickets. Now, I'm not trying to be down on myself. I do know that I think this will be one of the best tournaments of the year because it's going to be memorable. But you have to prove that to a sponsor, and it's hard. It is actually super difficult, and it's a rough feeling because you go up to people and you tell them about this thing that you built and that you're excited about, and they're like, "Wow, this is amazing. We really want to be part of this." You should have told us 8 months ago. I didn't even know it was going to happen 8 months ago, but yeah. So the system for sponsors in Dota 2, it's rough. It's rough. And then not only that, but I don't know how the fuck to do it. Now, that's one of the reasons that I wanted to do this project, is because I wanted to challenge myself and I wanted to do something completely new, something that I've never done before. It's been a lot of fun. Planning the tournament, organizing it, inviting teams. This part's not very fun. Sponsorship isn't fun because it's terrifying, and it's because people build their entire careers around this. Here's an example. How do you contact the person in the company that you need to talk to? Okay? You don't just go on to Pizza Roll's website and then they have their guy that you can talk to and send your deck to, your sponsor package, and no, that doesn't exist. So you have to go on this investigative detective work to find out who in their company is in charge of that maybe. And then you have to try to sometimes literally guess their email to send them a thing. Maybe you'll get in contact with them. And it's just such a thing in the wind. And you don't know, did I contact the right person? Did that email even exist? Will they even talk to me? You just don't know. And that's why people make their entire careers out of being sponsorships and sales, because they know people. They build a repertoire. They build a list of people that they've successfully talked to before. And a lot of it is he knows him, a friend of a friend. It's, oh yeah, I know the guy who's in charge of this, and he'll maybe link me to somebody who's in charge of this. And there's no other way to do it. Which is great if you've done that before in the past, but if it's your first time ever trying to do anything, it's goddamn impossible. So, another reason why is because people that do this for a living, they don't want to tell you their contacts, because those are their contacts. They had to work for those contacts. So you can't just go up to somebody and be like, hey, can you give me the email to the guy that you've worked with in the past? Fuck no. I'm not going to give you that email because that took time for me. That's a relationship. What if you're an asshole? What if you send them nude pics? Then they're going to hate me, then I lose money. And any money that this guy gives to you is money that he's not going to give to me in the future. So it is dog-eat-dog business. And, I'm not scared of business. I've lived that life. I've been a normal human being before. It's just difficult. It's difficult on a time crunch, too. We had no idea what Midas Mode was going to be because of the system in Dota 2, because it's so many tournaments. It is super hard to schedule. So when we found a time, it was time to go, boom, and I've been working on it ever since. So, there's a lot of things working against you when you're trying to sponsor your tournament. Meeting people that will actually want to do that product. Finding people that want the same product as you. Sometimes guys do want to sponsor you, but they want a completely different kind of attitude that you're looking for. They want obtrusive stuff everywhere. They want their logo on at all times. They want you to constantly talk about them and their thing. They want you to do all this shit that doesn't fit in with your stuff, but they have money. And that's sometimes what a lot of organizers have to do. They don't want to have these giant sellout segments that are super weird and cringy, but there's nobody else. So let's make it happen. So there's just everything working against you when it comes to the world of sponsorship. And I wish it was not that way, but that's business. People are giving you money. They want something in return, and you have to provide something. It's not free. So, it a bitch. Now, I know what you might be thinking to yourself, hey, why don't you just community fund it? The community likes it a lot. They want Midas Mode to happen. Everybody wants it to happen. I don't know. In my opinion, that's a failure, because it's personally I fail, because I have to say, okay, well, I wasn't good enough to find real world sponsors, so let's beg the community to fund the tournament. That sucks. And then B, I just don't think that it's creatively a good decision. Now, I might be wrong here, but from what I see, when people donate to something, they have a different view of the product. Rather than going to the product and looking at it and saying, oh, wow, that was a really nice thing that they put on. Instead of just looking at the product, they rate the product, because they are the ones that put it on. And instead of watching a program, let's say that we're a half an hour late one day. Shit happens. I'm a half an hour late. Well, okay, no problem. You guys tune in, you watch it, half an hour late, whatever. But if you guys paid for that tournament, if you guys supported that tournament, and it's a half an hour late, and you could only watch that first half an hour of the day, then you feel like you were robbed. Then it's me fucking you over. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people like that feeling of donating to something and helping it grow, and they feel pride. And if they miss that half an hour for the day, it's not a big deal, because guess what? It wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for me. Maybe that's how people feel. But personally, I feel like that's a last resort. Now, if I'm a complete failure and I can't fund this tournament at all, is that where I'm probably going to go? Well, probably. Self-loathing aside, I've promised a product, and if I can't deliver on it, I got to do whatever I can, because these teams have made sacrifices to come. So, last case resort, it would be a plea to crowdfund it, but that is my absolutely last case resort. Because that's why I did this. I did this to learn. I did this to challenge. So, anyway, Yeah, so sponsorship is hard, and in Dota 2, sponsorship is near impossible. You have all the guys that already know what they're doing in esports, and all the guys that have already sponsored stuff before. Those guys are great, and it's not a hard sell. They already know what these teams are. They already know how much attention this thing is going to get. They already know everybody that's going to be working in it and are excited for the product. But as much as excited as they are, they've probably already allocated those funds 8 fucking months ago. And then you got, okay, well, why don't we tap into people that don't know what esports is? What about first-time investors? Cold call random people. Well, welcome to my life. That's what I've been doing for the last couple weeks. And it's so much more difficult. You have to convince, you say, oh, I got Liquid playing in the tournament. They don't, who's Liquid? They don't goddamn know. What kind of impressions are you going to get? Give me the statistics. Give me the numbers. Are these good? Are these bad? What do I get out of this? Is esports real? What is esports? These are the questions that you have to answer. And that's time consuming. And it's difficult. So you either got guys that know exactly what you're talking about and would love to sponsor you but don't have any more money because the Dota 2 scene is insanely populated right now. Or you have guys that have no idea who you are. And then you have to try to explain to them what stuff is, and then they still won't know what the hell is happening. So yeah, it's pretty brutal, to be completely honest with you. And now I see why tournaments do so much for the sponsors. It's always been a question of me, like, why do they constantly run these ads, this sellout shit? And it's because it is a sacrifice. It is hard. It is so hard to get a sponsor that is willing to put their money behind your product. But, I mean, that's life. And if you want somebody to sponsor your product, you just have to make something better. You have to make something that you can convince them to do. But, yeah. I mean, people do this full time. This is people's entire job. They don't have to do anything else. They literally are just looking for leads on sponsors. That's difficult, especially for me. I mean, I'm in goddamn Sweden right now, working an event, and every single time that the cameras aren't on, I'm on the internet trying to track down the goddamn marketing guy for Geico, okay? Like, I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, it's rough. It is really rough out there. However, there is some good news. We have had a few interested parties, and I would do anything for those guys. Those goddamn saviors. Those angels that have decided to throw their hat into the ring. So we got a long way to go. I won't say how much I'm looking for, but I mean, the more the better for the teams, because it makes it more of a event for them and they're happier. No teams want to agree to do something and then they walk away with like literal pocket change. I'm trying not to be too down on myself about this, because it is literally hard and it is literally things that people have to do every single day. But it is a challenge. Hopefully it's a challenge that I step up to. I got about 1 more month to fully fund this tournament. And that's terrifying. Because what if I don't? What if I don't fund this tournament? What if I can't find anybody that kind of shares the same sponsorship vision? What if I can't find anybody that wants to support this community thing? Then that's it for me. I mean, I've wasted the times of 8 teams. I've hyped up a fan base. I've made a lot of promises, and then I'll have to call it off. And then what do? My reputation's in the shitter. Teams fucking hate me now. Community hates me now. Promises are not kept. And I've got 1 month to make this money for those teams. And they have trusted me enough to say, yes, we're going to play in the tournament so we can help you sell sponsors. And they have cleared their schedules with the faith knowing that this tournament will happen. And if it doesn't, because I did not find sponsors, then I'm done. So, high-stress situation? Sure, but guess what? I've been in high-stress situations before. Screw it. I didn't even know I was going to host TI6 stage host until 10 minutes before. High-stress situations is how you survive. You got to swim or you got to sink. So it's time to see if I'm going to do that. God help me, though, if I Fuck up. So yeah, let's talk about positives of sponsors though. A lot of the sponsors that I've talked to, especially the ones that are currently interested in the product and we're ironing out the details with, couldn't be more chill. A lot of them understand the vision that I want to put on and say, yeah, we're not looking for hard commercials. We're looking for putting a product out there to make it fun and interesting for people and to make it something that is not detracting from the attention but adding to it. So, yeah, that's been really positive. And even the sponsors that have looked at all my stuff and turned it down, I've been nothing but positive. They're saying, hey, we think that you've got something really great here. We'd love to be part of a second iteration if you do it, but we just don't have the funds for this quarter because we allocated those 6 months ago. So, yeah, that's the positive. Almost every sponsor that I've talked to has been great, even if they're not being a part of it. And the guys that are considering being part of it know exactly what they're doing. They know that it's not a Valve major. They know that people don't have to get points, but they know that it's grown from passion in the community. And these teams are there not because they're looking for a big payday, but because they want to have fun. And that aligns with them. So that is very nice to know that these sponsor guys are not just faceless corporations. They're actually Dota fans. A lot of them are just Dota fans. They just play Dota. And they work at this company and they're like, hey, I want in. Let's go. Because I want to support the scene. And that's really great and refreshing. Because in the end, we all sponsor Dota. Because we all actively grow it. Every viewer, every person that throws money at the game or at tournaments or at players, we just want our passion to live and grow. So it's good to know that these guys are not just suits. They're actually just Dota players that want good times. So anyway, my sponsorship woes, it is literally killing me. I stay up. It's all I do. It's all I do now. I haven't streamed. I haven't done anything. It's literally just sponsor emails every single day or trying to hunt down somebody from a company or trying to bother people. And I cannot wait until it's over. When I hit my mark, when I sell the sponsorship, I'm going to sleep like a baby. But I haven't slept in a month. That's all I think about. So, yeah, as soon as that question is answered, as soon as a sponsor comes along, I will be one happy ducky. Because that is where we currently are. That is our last thing. After we're done with that, it's only the good shit. It's only refining the content. It's only planning the stuff. It's building the studio. It's organizing the event. And the days and running down the show plans. That's stuff that I already know. And that's stuff that I'm super excited to do. Because, yeah, it's going to be really good. Really good. But first things first, I have to make sure that I don't get fucking destroyed. And I find people to fund this tournament. So anyway, yeah. Times are terrifying right now. Times are really, really scary. But we are close to being out of the frying pan. We got the teams. We got the time. Just need the sponsors. So, yeah, if I fail completely, I'll probably just disappear from Dota 2. So consider this my rip, my goodbye vlog. Yes, this will be the last thing I probably make if we don't get the tournament sponsored from my own work. Yes, goodbye. Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure. Now you know why I disappeared. See you in Splatoon. My name will be Splatterpants. But if I do somehow get the sponsorship money and find a way to make it work, then I will see you guys for more of my little mini Midas Mode blogs. Now, I don't know. I'm not really going to make another blog until I get the sponsorship taken care of. So, yeah, it might be a couple days or something. Oh, God, I hope it's a couple days, but we'll see. When the tournament is paid for, we'll move on to the next step, and then these diary segments won't be about stuff that I've already done. It will be about stuff that I'm planning to do and currently doing, like a real diary. Anyway, thank you, everybody, for watching. Hey, if you know anybody that wants to sponsor a tournament, let me know, okay? Super open for contacts, All right, I'll talk to you guys later.